Well, Vaush, it's not just they can't form families because of the economy. It's mainly because young women don't want to have relations with men. Have you considered men being more appealing? I've never really had an issue or dating women. I feel like it's because laughing at women's jokes goes crazy when having sex with women be the vibe, is what I'm saying, basically. It is a self-report issue, right? Because the general desirability of men, or lack thereof, I should say, I am very much talking about, like, other guys. This is a problem other guys seem to be having. But then you look at men online, like the person who I've been responding to here, your name is Professional Chud. If you're having an issue finding women, I think that, like, talk about personal responsibility, we can probably identify some root issues before getting at, like, post-Reagan social policy or whatever. Divorce rate's actually lower now than it was a decade ago. You know, I'm saying, like, you just gotta find a lady. It's no hate. Look, dating's not easy. Never has been. But, you know, skill issue. 6'2" above average looking white guy has no issues with women. Wow, great stuff, Vaush. Majority of young women. Average looking. Listen, I'll have you know, are not in relationships, so the majority of young women are. And you just say, wait, majority of young men are not in relationships, while the majority of young women are. What's the math on this? What's the data on this? I'm sorry, look, if you want a woman to be in a relationship with you, you got to convince them to be in a relationship with you. It's kind of like, I don't know what else, like, but like, if you want the government to get you a state mandated girlfriend, that's literally DEI, okay? You like, why? Is this not like the stern cold hand of Darwin coming down from on high to suppress you and, like, shove you back down into the dirt with the defective, you know, non-reproducing individuals? Life is a struggle, isn't it? Fight to survive. Get on up there. Give yourself a shave. Do something with your hair. Wear some nice clothing. Get on out there. Go get him, Tiger. I'm rooting for you. They're dating older men. Professional Chud, again, I'm really sorry. I don't know what age you are, but I have existed in the real world. I existed in it before I was a streamer, and I still kind of do. Your perception of women is being informed by men on the internet telling you what's what, which I acknowledge I am currently doing right now, but I'm here to break the spell, okay? I promise you the majority of young women are not in relationships with older men, and there are some younger men who are in relationship with older women. There might be, I think on average, the relationship age disparity between men and women is 3 years. So in all relationships, all of them at every age range, the man on average is like 2.5 to 3 years older than the woman, which is not a lot. You know, it's not enough to cause this massive discrepancy. And that's less than how much longer women live on average. So actually, if you average out like the disproportionate age range versus the actuarial tables of males versus females, you actually get, like, it's a surprisingly stable system, is what I'm saying, basically. Look, I'm not arguing this, okay? Good luck. I'm rooting for you. But yeah, like, if a lot of young men are single and sexless, they should work on that. Men just need to learn how to give head. It's not that hard. It's not about giving head, dude. It's that a lot of men are, like, really fucking repellent. Like, have you seen how they act online? Like, this guy's name is literally Professional Chud. Like, we're talking about people who are so poisoned. It's not about showering, and it's not about eating pussy or whatever. It's like their brain is so poisoned by the, like, Andrew Tate incel black pill, whatever the fuck. Like, they're gone to begin with. And they think they're slick because they think women are stupid. They think women can't sniff that shit off them when it's really easy to, you know? Every, like, right-wing guy who, like, Pepe posts on Twitter and talks about the JQ or whatever, they slick their hair back and they think, like, no one can tell, you know? I live a double life. All right, no one can tell. And then they go out in the real world and they're, like, incredibly off-putting to everyone around them in ways they can't understand because they're really autistic and poorly socialized. They think they're being slick and they're not. And then they're like, wow, the reason nobody, you know, is the reason no women are talking to me, it's because of feminism or something. It's like, man, you poisoned your mind. Guy who thinks no one can tell he's drunk. Literally, yeah. It's like, dude, you came into these interactions like so fucked from the get-go, and you could change. You can always change. The only time it's too late to change is when you're dead. After that, yeah, that was too late. But up until that point, Maybe showering wouldn't hurt for some of them, but I don't think that's the main issue. And if people are poor, they should work on that too. But then you come with 20 structural and systemic issues to explain the situation. But professional chud. Yeah, I'll engage with this. But you're forgetting something, which is that when I'm talking about society, I talk about systemic solutions. When I'm talking to an individual, I talk about individual solutions. You ever watch my streams? You see me talk about people wasting their money on DoorDash? Or how I talk about people should stop wasting their money on weed or learn how to cook so they can save money? See, there are systemic explanations for people's deprivation, but individual responsibility does, in fact, play into it. Likewise, I think a lot of the reason your brain is cooked is because of systemic factors that are kind of unfair to you, right? I had a good father who gave me a good sense of morality, and, I grew up in an environment where internet grifters weren't telling me that feminism is the reason I'm miserable. And as a consequence of that, I didn't grow up having that kind of brain fuckery, Maybe if I had been born 5 years later, I would have gotten, brain cooked by Gamergate types the wrong time. I would have been the right age for them to groom me into thinking that feminists are taking my video games away. Look, it's always a mix of the interpersonal and the systemic, but you have to address people where they're at. I think that there are systemic factors that are making men unfuckable as a group, and I think most of it is the prominence of right-wing grifting. People like Andrew Tate make lots of money off of worsening relations between men and women. You see this really prominently in South Korea, where the gender gap politically is massive. And in South Korean media, there are a lot of internet grifters and government officials who are both really committed as a political practice to exacerbating that gap. Reactionary political movements benefit from men and women being separate because it's easy to lead men along on a string when they feel really bad about how fuckable they are or aren't, a guy who's not getting any is a lot easier to lead around by a string because he's manipulable. This happens all the time. It's one of the reasons why, hey, why are you blaming feminism, right? You're blaming feminism. Feminism doesn't have shit to do. Feminists have more sex than non-feminist women. You think all the stiff upper lip, keep their legs closed, don't want a relationship types are feminists? What are you talking about? That's a stereotype associated with socially conservative women. You're blaming feminism for this because your head's all mixed up. You've been convinced by these reactionary political movements. That's what's responsible. You're easy to lead around. So there are systemic explanations for why you feel the way you do. But there's also interpersonal stuff. And I talk about both. It's a systemic issue. Yeah, professional chud, I just said that. You typed that out before I said that, I think. Professional chud, you can rage against me all you want. I'm pro people getting to have relationships and having sex. I can't help you with the brain cooking. Wow, they get to fuck more with Chad. I'm so happy now. I can't, see, you can lead a horse to water. Am I right, folks? It's you can rage against me all you want, but I'm not vindictive with this, okay? I want a healthy, happy, stable society where everyone's getting, the relationships and tail that they want, this is I'm not out here going actually, I think that, I don't want any men to have sex. This is a fake political position, made up. It's made up online. I want people to be happy. But, if you're cooked and you've convinced yourself, then address female hypergamy if you truly care. Okay, I'll work on that, all right? All right, slugger. I'll give that my best. Wait, actually, is hypergamy an issue? No. There's a bunch of, very well substantiated polling data indicating that men and women are both comparably likely to cheat and have comparably equal numbers of partners across their lifetime. You have to cook the data massively, selectively choose for some and ignore a bunch of others to get into this narrative that women are all women are only fucking the top 10% of men. By the way, a belief which is disproven if you go outside, which I know you don't because you're called professional chud on the private website of a live streamer. If you go outside, there are lots of ugly fucking dudes who are getting, I'm sorry. It's it's just, you are fighting against the world, but all the world is outside and you're getting it all filtered through the computer and the people who you listen to. But you're like, that drawing of the bird who's in the bird cage, but there's only 2 bars to the bird cage? And it's the ones that they're holding, so they won't, they're in the prison of their own creation, basically. She do let it hit because you goofy. That is true. It's mostly dating sites, TBH. Yeah, if my only experience with people was through dating sites and like Andrew Tate videos, I would probably also think a lot of what that guy does, which is why it's really important to actually talk to people in real life. The reason the dating sites encourage this attitude, listen, on dating sites like on Tinder or whatever the fuck else, like the female hypergamy thing might be selectively pointed. Because in those cases, if you're a woman, you're getting dick pics sent to you every fucking minute. Why? Well, because men are desperate. Like, that's men. You realize that's the men's... like, imagine you're the woman in that position and you, like, want a casual fling and there's 1,000 men matching with you. Aren't you going to match with the one you think is hottest? How is the over-availability of men in that instance the woman's fault? This is literally seen in all mammalian species. Professional Chud, I don't know where you're getting this from. It's literally not. You can talk to like a zoologist or something. You're not. You're just hearing it. In every mammalian species, in the thousands of mammalian species, all of the females on Tinder, they get the matches from the other sea otters, and only the sea otter with the longest whiskers gets to slam. Come on. You're crazy. I'm making a point here. Don't disrupt it. Yeah, like the whole, you know, the woman will only go out with the hottest guy thing. Like if you're on Tinder where every guy is out there spamming their cock at every woman who breathes, like, okay, kind of men creating that situation though, you know? Like, what is a woman supposed to do? Go with the first one who messages her? It's just a supply demand thing. Go out there in real life. I wish I were a beautiful girl. No, I mean, not in the context of getting saddled with all those dick pics, you're not. Okay? Seriously, just go make a fucking Grindr account for 10 seconds, all right, as a guy, and you will immediately understand how off-putting it is to be treated that way, en masse, by a bunch of people you don't care about, okay? Men are very... I don't think it's an innate thing. Maybe they were more demure back in ancient Greece or something, I don't know. Your Tinder advice actually got me laid, so shut the fuck up, Vaush. Well, I'm not saying you can't use Tinder. I've gotten laid off Tinder. I'm just saying, you know, it's a more difficult game, mostly because men like oversupply, you know? A lot of guys oversupply without any interest in actually committing, which is the crazy thing, you know? Like, there are a lot of guys out there who will try to match and talk to everyone, but they don't actually want to hook up because they're just desperately looking for any affection or attention from a woman. So they actually dilute the dating pool for everybody because more women are getting like led around if they want to hook up, and it leads to more and more, like it's a fucked like dynamic overall. Why do people care so much about getting laid? Don't be a loser, okay? Because it feels good. If you want sex, hire a sex worker. Don't be a retard. The fuck are you talking about? You can if you want. What do you mean? You want to have sex? Okay, how pedestrian. Eat shit. Yeah. The damn asexuals. Yeah, the ace individuals are uniting. Yeah, bro wants to eat lunch, Lamau. Fucking crazy. That's why I'm out here rooting for the incels. I am. You people know if you watch my content. I'm out here like, listen, all right? You're unfuckable, but we can make you better. There are systemic and interpersonal. We talk about the systemic, we talk about the interpersonal. You know? Just takes a bit of work, but doesn't everything? Like, let's be real. How desirable have you made yourself at this point in your life? Really? Vaush, interesting how you mentioned Grindr because it proves that men just aren't hyper-selective, unlike women. Ah, professional Chud, but therein lies the problem. And you fell for my trap because on Grindr, I am hyper-selective. The problem isn't man versus woman selectiveness. The problem is perceived desirability and how many fucking messages they're getting, okay? It's not it's not like a sexual bimodal thing, okay? When I'm on Grindr, I'm like, ugh, you know? And not just because I'm homophobic, though I'm sure that's a component, but also because it's like just generally demeaning to have a billion people go like, you know, me want fuck ass eat or whatever. Happens to women on Tinder. But it's not a sex thing. I'm a guy. You know, you'll have to take my word at that one. It's just how they get treated. You need to think of women as people and then sympathize with why they feel the way they do. You don't. You think of women as animals, which is why you talk about them with this bullshit hypergamy, mammalian biology, sexual dimorphism, blah-de-blah, okay? Their thought processes are really understandable if you just think for a second. But you can't because you're so starved for pussy that you're like, well, if 100 pussies got thrown my way, I would simply be happy at the pussy attention. It's like when women talk about catcalling and how it makes them feel upset or scared, and men are like, well, nobody's complimented me since 2014, so I would love it if I got catcalled by a lady. It's like, well, you're not really trying to understand where they're coming from, you know? But we've gone on about this, you know, enough, I think. The average guy just watches Netflix and TikTok like women. Nothing is special about women that they are so much better and fuckable than men. That's insane. I don't know what you, I'm not sure what you mean. I don't know what you mean. No, I just don't, I just maybe like the message was lost a little. I don't know what that means. He's saying men are not unfuckable. I agree. I have had sex with men. Yeah. Agreed. Yay. Bros need to compliment the bros more. Yeah, but not like in a gay way, you know? So there's nothing, millions of years of evolution and men are exactly like women. What do you talk? I said you're both humans. Professional Chud, I said men and women are both humans. That's all I said. What do you, like, this is what I mean with the crazy shit. You know what I mean? I say we're humans. You're like, okay, so we're humans. So we're exactly the same. Every person biologically identical. Like, what do you want about? She already chose the bear dog stop. The bear is going back for seconds at this point. This is what I mean, though. A lot of these problems do stem from it's not just an inability. It's an unwillingness to think of women as people, because as soon as you think of them as people, you have to kind of put some effort into empathizing with them. And that really gets in the way of the narrative that, like, they're animals that have been corrupted by feminism into betraying their biological mandate or something. You know, you get like really weird. It's not really that different to how people employed scientific racism to morally justify the master-slave dynamic between whites and blacks, right? Where they rather than acknowledging the fact that like a black slave feels pain just as a white person does or whatever the fuck, they were like, well, actually, because of skull shapes or something, it's actually the natural place of the black man, you know, whatever. And then they're like, oh, well, now I don't have to think about it as much, which is really the reason why scientific racism was kind of codified and explained the way that it was. Anyway, this has run its course, I think, for quite a while, but I enjoyed it. Whites and blacks are the same, millions of years in evolution and nothing. Literally, though, yeah. Well, the professional Chud is a professional. They might believe that too, you know. I don't know how DNA works, but I'm pretty sure that having different skin tones means that all the inside parts are different too. I mean, it's like, okay, so like one gene controls for skin tone and then like a few for like nose shape and lip shape. So it's probably like, what, 5 genes that control for brain activity, I imagine. So if the outside ones are changed, the inside ones are probably also about as changed. I've always thought this. Yeah, that just makes sense to me, you know? There's the woman gene and the man gene. Well, that's just true. This was cutting edge in the 18th century. Yeah. All right. Okay. We've had a fun convo. No. You guys shut the fuck up. No. We're moving on. If you do that, this is how it, and this is what bothers me. It's like, you have to just whoosh, okay? We don't have to ban. It's chill. Just whoosh. It's cool. We're all friends. No, you can't keep this going indefinitely. I'm doing the arguing. If I don't, I don't. Who are we banning? Well, nobody. Nobody's gotten on my nerves, which is pretty much that's how it is, Stanley the dog.